This was François Papa Doc Duvalier, a leader who combined shrewd political maneuvering with the mystique of a voodoo priest, ruling Haiti with an iron fist. To maintain his grip on power, he unleashed the Tonton Macoutes, a notorious paramilitary force armed with machetes and an appetite for violence. While he may not be as famous as other 20th century tyrants, Duvalier's dictatorship is pivotal to understanding Haiti's persistent struggles with poverty, crime and instability, issues rooted in his 14 years of corruption and ruthless governance. To understand Duvalier's rise, it is essential to trace Haiti's turbulent history. Haiti's story began with an extraordinary act of defiance, the world's first successful slave rebellion. In 1804, enslaved Africans overthrew French colonial rule, creating the first independent Black Republic. Yet this hard-won victory came at a catastrophic cost. In 1825, France extorted an indemnity of 150 million francs as reparations for the loss of its lucrative colony, forcing Haiti to borrow heavily and plunging the young nation into economic turmoil that lasted over a century. Social divisions compounded these economic wars. Haiti's mixed-race elite, descendants of freed slaves and French colonists, retained wealth and power, while the rural black majority remained excluded and impoverished. This racial and economic chasm created a volatile environment where power shifted rapidly and often violently. By the early 20th century, Haiti's fragility invited foreign intervention. The United States occupation of Haiti from 1915 to 1934, ostensibly to stabilize the country, imposed centralization, suppressed nationalist movements, and exploited resources for American interests. This era left deep scars of resentment and disillusionment, paving the way for Papa Doc Duvalier to rise as a champion of Haiti's black majority through his noirisme ideology. Born on April 14, 1907, in Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital, François Duvalier grew up in a Haiti racked by relentless political instability. His father, Duval Duvalier, was a teacher and journalist who eventually became a justice of the peace. His mother, Eurythie Abraham, struggled with mental illness, leaving François to be raised primarily by his aunt, Madame Florestal. By the time Duvalier was 14, Haiti had seen 9 presidents come and go, and the country was under the heavy hand of a United States occupation. The Americans, intent on consolidating power, sought to erase voodoo, a spiritual lifeline for many Haitians, and exploited the nation's resources. Rural communities bore the brunt of these policies, and young Duvalier witnessed the suppression and suffering firsthand, fueling his nationalist fervor. Political chaos became a defining feature of Duvalier's early life. Between 1922 and 1957, Haiti cycled through 12 additional presidents, 8 of whom lasted less than a year. This constant upheaval instilled in Duvalier a keen understanding of the fragility of power, shaping his later methods to hold on to power when he became Haiti's leader. François Duvalier's academic journey led him to the University of Haiti School of Medicine, where his dedication and compassion earned him the nickname Papa Doc. His medical career began with promise, highlighted by successful campaigns against diseases like yaws and malaria. But his ambitions extended far beyond medicine. Embracing his African heritage, Duvalier became deeply interested in voodoo, a religion blending traditional African beliefs with Catholic practices. Voodoo's focus on spirits as intermediaries between humanity and the divine profoundly influenced him. What began as an intellectual curiosity later evolved into a political tool, as Duvalier would exploit voodoo to construct a cult of personality, but more on this a little bit later. In the 1930s, Duvalier would also join the Griot movement, an intellectual circle that celebrated black nationalism and sought to integrate voodoo into Haiti's cultural and political identity. Aligned with noirisme, Duvalier opposed the mixed-race elite's dominance, championing Haiti's black peasantry as the nation's true backbone. His writings and activism within this movement cemented his reputation as both a scholar and a voice for the marginalized. Duvalier's early political career was shaped by his roles under his friend, President Dumassais Estime. As Director General of the National Public Health Service, François Duvalier led an anti-US campaign that earned him national recognition. However, when Estime was overthrown in 1950, Duvalier retreated to the countryside where he built a grassroots network among rural communities who viewed him as their defender. In 1956, Haiti's political landscape descended once again into chaos following President Paul Magloire's resignation. Sensing an opportunity, François Duvalier declared his candidacy for president. Campaigning on a populist platform, he promised to dismantle the status quo and uplift the black majority. His rhetoric struck a chord with rural voters who saw him as one of their own. During his 1957 campaign, Duvalier actively courted the support of Voodoo Hungan priests, using voodoo temples in rural areas as de facto party offices. Also, with strategic alliances and the army's backing, Duvalier defeated his main opponent, Louis Dejean, in what was one of Haiti's quietest and relatively fair elections. Early in his tenure as president, defeated candidates and opposition groups refused to cooperate with Duvalier, inciting violence and dissent. Because of these numerous challenges and in order to consolidate power, François Doc Duvalier responded by creating the Tonton Macoutes, a paramilitary force whose very name invoked fear. Named after a Haitian folklore boogeyman, Uncle Ganisek, who kidnapped and ate naughty children, the Tonton Macoutes functioned as a blend of gang, cult, secret police, and fascist militia. Recruited from the peasantry, the Tonton Macoutes acted as Duvalier's enforcers, terrorizing the population with arbitrary killings, extortion, and looting. Armed with machetes and guns and driven by fanatical loyalty to Papa Doc, they operated outside the law, silencing dissent and solidifying Duvalier's grip on power.
The Tonton Macoutes were vested with dark and mysterious power in the half-world of voodoo. In the popular imagination, the Tonton Macoutes represented a deity which could snatch men away and carry them off to a kind of hell, and the reality was not far behind the fable.
Their unchecked brutality created an atmosphere of terror that permeated every level of Haitian society. During this period, Papa Doc Duvalier sidelined the traditional military. By sidelining the traditional military and empowering the Tonton Macoutes, Duvalier ensured his survival against potential coups. During this period, opposition leaders were imprisoned, exiled, or eliminated, and the judiciary became little more than an extension of his will.
From the emperor, this is my opinion, this is my philosophy. To have peace and stability, you should have a strong man in every country. Not a dictator, not a dictator, but a strong man.
Not a dictator.
Not a dictator, but a strong man.
In 1959, Papa Doc Duvalier suffered a heart attack, an event that marked a turning point in his rule. Speculation was rife that a medication error left him with permanent neurological damage as his behavior grew increasingly erratic. During his incapacitation, Clement Babo, the head of the Tonton Macoutes, briefly assumed power. But upon recovering, Duvalier accused Babo of treason and imprisoned him. Later, Babo attempted a coup, leading to one of the most bizarre episodes of Duvalier's rule. Rumors spread that Babo had transformed into a black dog to evade capture. Papa Doc Duvalier, blending superstition with ruthlessness, ordered the extermination of all black dogs in Haiti. Having established dominance over the military, Papa Doc turned his sights on another powerful institution, Catholicism. The Catholic Church lost its long-standing position as the official religion of Haiti, replaced symbolically and culturally by voodoo. Duvalier's exploitation of voodoo was nothing short of theatrical genius. He claimed to be possessed by the spirit of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the revolutionary hero who led Haiti to independence. Outwardly, Papa Doc crafted his persona to mirror Baron Samedi, the voodoo spirit of death. With his signature dark glasses and funeral attire, he embodied an image steeped in mystique and fear. Papa Doc Duvalier reportedly performed voodoo rituals to intimidate his enemies and solidify his image as a spiritual leader. Stories of his use of animal sacrifices and curses spread widely, enhancing the perception of his mystical control. A bizarre tale from Duvalier's mystique claims that upon hearing of US President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963, Duvalier took credit for the act, asserting it was the result of a curse he had placed on the US president. Rumors circulated that Duvalier had stabbed a JFK voodoo doll 2,222 times on the morning of the assassination, with 22 being his lucky number. The curse, Duvalier claimed, was revenge for the United States cutting aid to Haiti during his regime. Propaganda also played a vital role in reinforcing Papa Doc Duvalier's cult of personality. Portraits depicted him alongside Jesus Christ with captions declaring him divinely chosen. Duvalier went so far as to modify the Lord's Prayer to exalt himself, cementing his godlike status in the minds of his followers. In 1964, Duvalier discarded any pretense of democracy, declaring himself president for life.
Democracy is a word, is only a word, is a philosophy, is a conception. What you call democracy in your own country, another country can call that a dictatorship.
This marked the beginning of a darker phase in his rule. The brutality of his rule led to one of the highest episodes of out-migration in Haiti's history. Thousands fled to the United States, Canada, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic, seeking refuge from the regime's oppression. Although some poor Haitians saw marginal improvements in their status under Duvalier, the majority suffered immensely. Poverty deepened, and the average Haitian faced increasingly desperate conditions. Despite international condemnation and isolation, Duvalier's grip on power remained firm until his death in 1971. Papa Doc Duvalier's death marked a transition rather than an end to the regime's legacy. Power passed to his 19-year-old son, Jean-Claude Duvalier, infamously known as Baby Doc. Though less overtly violent than his father, Baby Doc perpetuated the corruption and mismanagement that had defined the Duvalier dynasty. The fall of the Duvalier dynasty in 1986 left Haiti grappling with the enduring scars of decades of tyranny. Don't be shy to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and to like and share the video if you enjoyed it. See you soon for another episode of The Knowledge Quest.